The tennis world just witnessed its most dramatic collapse, and it didn't even happen on the court. In a moment that left millions heartbroken and furious, Alex Eala's fairy tale run in Berlin came to a devastating end. But what happened next has shaken the sport to its very core. Fans aren't just disappointed, they're furious. BT Trade and launching an unprecedented boycott of the championship final. The stadium that once roared with excitement now echoes with painful silence as thousands declare the final completely meaningless without their hero. Why has one defeat turned the biggest tennis event into a ghost town? What did Alex say after the match that made grown fans break down in tears? And who was really to blame for this shocking disaster? Buckle up, because this is the explosive story of a tournament that lost its solemn night. The build-up was nothing short of magical. Alex Eala, the 19-year-old Filipino sensation, had captured the hearts of millions with her fearless tennis and warrior spirit. Every match she played in Berlin was a masterclass in determination, each victory sending shockwaves through the tennis establishment. She wasn't just winning, she was purring. From Manila to Madrid, fans stayed up till dawn, their eyes glued to screens, praying for another miracle. This wasn't just a tennis tournament anymore. It had become a movement, a symbol of hope for every underdog who dared to dream big. But then came that match, the semifinal, the one that would change everything. From the very first point, the tension was unbearable. Alex fought with every ounce of her being, her powerful forehands painting the lines, her never-say-die attitude pushing her opponent to the absolute brink. The crowd was electric, every point drawing gasps and thunderous applause. For 2 sets, it was a heavyweight battle, a gladiatorial contest that had everyone on their feet. But as the match wore on, the weight of expectation began to show. A few unforced errors here, a questionable line call there, and suddenly, the dream started slipping away like sand through trembling fingers. When the final point landed and the handshake was exchanged, the silence that descended upon the stadium was deafening. Not the respectful silence of a defeated crowd, but the stunned, heartbroken silence of thousands who had just watched their hero fall. Alex dropped to her knees, her face buried in her hands, shoulders shaking with uncontrollable sobs. The camera zoomed in, capturing every raw, painful moment. This wasn't just a loss, this was a tragedy, a soul-crushing end to a beautiful story that was supposed to have a Hollywood ending. And in that moment, nobody knew it yet, but the tournament had just lost its reason to exist. Within seconds of the final point, social media petted. It was like a volcano of emotion had exploded, flooding every platform with fury, heartbreak, and unprecedented anger. Hashtags like number justice for Alex, number Berlin boycott, and number Eala deserve better began trending globally within minutes. But here's where it gets shocking. The anger wasn't directed at Alex's opponent, who played a fantastic match. Instead, the fury was aimed at the tournament itself, at the cruel fate that snatched victory from their champion, and at a tennis system that fans felt had failed their hero. "This is the most upset I've ever felt watching sports," wrote one devastated fan. "I can't even look at the final. My tournament is over. Without Alex, nothing matters." This sentiment spread like wildfire, with thousands of fans echoing the same painful declaration. The comments section of every tennis page became a war zone of emotions, tears, rage, accusations, and a collective sense of betrayal that no one saw coming. But then came the unthinkable. Fans began organizing. WhatsApp groups, Twitter threads, and Instagram stories started circulating a call to action: boycott the final. Don't watch it. Don't action. Don't give the tournament one single view. Let them see what happens when they take our champion away. One viral post read, "The final is nothing without Alex Eala." What started as individual expressions of grief quickly morphed into a mass movement, a rebellion against the very structure of the sport they loved. Sponsors panicked, organizers scrambled. And in the middle of it all, one young woman's heartbreaking defeat had triggered something the tennis world had never seen before: a fan revolt, the championship final, the pinnacle of any tournament, the match that every player dreams of and every fan anticipates. But this final, it's being called the most-point final in tennis history. Yes, you read that right, pointless. Across every social media platform, fans are declaring their complete disinterest in the final. Who cares who wins? Read one tweet that got over 50,000 likes. The tournament ended when Alex lost. Period. Another fan posted a photo of a half-empty stadium with the caption, "This is what happens when you break our hearts. We leave." And the shocking part? These aren't just empty threats. Reports are flooding in of ticket holders are denying their seats. Broadcasters are bracing for a ratings disaster. The final, once a crowning glory of the tournament, has become a S-palm of everything that went wrong. The reasoning is simple but devastating. The people's champion is gone. The story that captured the world's imagination has been cut short. And for millions of fans, watching the final without Alex Eala feels like watching a movie after the main character has died pointless, hollow, and completely uninteresting. But the implications go far beyond this single tournament. This boycott is a wake-up call to the entire tennis establishment. It exposes the fragile relationship between sports organizations and the fans who keep them alive. When fans feel their emotional investment has been disrespected, they don't just get angry, they get organized. And when they organize, they have the power to destroy ratings, empty stadiums, and send sponsors running. The Berlin final may be played, but the Ars story is the massive rebellion happening in the shadows. In the emotional aftermath of her defeat, Alex Eala faced the media with a courage that left even her fiercest critics in tears. The press conference was less of an interview and more of a public grising session where the young star's vulnerability and strength collided in the most heart-breaking way. Her voice trembling, she began, "I gave everything I had. Every single point, every single rally, I left it all on that court. It wasn't enough today, and that hurts more than you can imagine." As tears streamed down her face, she paused to collect herself, and in that moment, the entire room felt her pain. But then, she looked up, her eyes filled with a determination that sent chills down everyone's spine. To every single fan who stayed up, who traveled, who believed in me, thank you. Your love carried me through this tournament. And I promise you, this is not the end. I will come back stronger. That promise, that one moment of resilience, it was like a phoenix rising from the ashes of her defeat. Fans who were ready to break down found themselves re-inspired. The comments section flooded with messages of support and adoration. "We're with you forever, Alex. This is just the beginning. You've already won our hearts." The heartbreak was still there, but now it was mixed with a fierce, unbreakable loyalty. And then came the silence, the deafening silence from the tournament organizers. No statement of support, no acknowledgement of the boycott. Just a hollow corporate response that felt like adding salt to an open wound. Fans noticed. They always notice. And in that silence, the divide between the establishment and the people grew even wider. The tournament may have continued, but in the hearts of millions, it had already lost its essence. So where do we go from here? The Berlin final will be played. A trophy will be lifted. Champagne will be sprayed. But will anyone care? The answer, as the evidence overwhelmingly suggests, is a resounding no. This tournament will forever be remembered not for who won, but for the massive tsunami of fan fury that followed Alex Eala's elimination. It has exposed a glaring, uncomfortable truth about modern sports. Fans are no longer passive consumers. They are emotionally invested participants in the narrative. And when that narrative is shattered, they don't just walk away, they rebel. The implications are staggering. Sponsors are now re-evaluating their association with tournaments that fail to protect their stars' narratives. Broadcasters are sweating over ratings that could be illumined if fan loyalty continues to shift from the sport itself to individual athletes. And future tournament organizers will think twice before scheduling grueling matches that could break their most beloved players. But amidst all this chaos, one thing is crystal clear. Alex Eala is not just a tennis player. She is a phenomenon, a movement, a symbol of hope that transcends borders and cultures. And her fans are not just spectators, they are a powerful, unstoppable force that can make or break an entire event. The tennis world has been put on notice. You cannot ignore the people's champion and expect everything to be okay. As for Alex, this is not the end of her story. It's a reboot, a determination, a promise. The tears she shed in Berlin will be the fuel for her calm back. The heartbreak she felt will be the fire that drives her to greatness. And the fans who boycotted the final, they will be right there, louder and prouder than ever, when she returns to claim what is rightfully hers. The Berlin tragedy is over, but Alex Eala's legacy is just beginning. If you enjoyed this shocking sports update and want to stay ahead of the biggest stories in the world, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to World Zone right now. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment of the action. See you in the next video.